In total, there are 17 kingdoms in Super Mario Odyssey, including the dark side and the darker side. So I was thinking, while I was sitting on my bed staring off into space at 3 a.m., I've never ranked every kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. This video is very much going to be like my last video where I ranked Nintendo home consoles, but this time, instead of using a tier list, I'm just going to use numbers, from 17 to 1. But before we get into it, I have a little announcement to make. Me and some big help from a friend, I have improved my Discord server. New rules, new server info, and more. I want to give a big shout out to Best Shorts for helping me with improving the server and a couple of other people for making it possible. A link to Best Shorts YouTube channel will be down below in the description, and a link to the Discord server will be down below as well. Also, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload. Also, this is my opinion, but now let's get on with the video. At number 17, we got the Cloud Kingdom. Outside of collecting the moons, there's really nothing to do in this kingdom. The only reason this kingdom is here is because you have to fight Bowser here. And I guess Nintendo didn't want this kingdom to go to waste, so they just slapped a couple of moons on this kingdom. Instead, there you go. The scenery is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but after you collect all the 9 moons in the kingdom, there's not really much to do. And not to mention, after you finish the game, aka before you can unlock the moon rocks, there's only 2 moons you are available to get. A picture match minigame and meeting Peach. Seriously, 2 moons? The last 7 are associated with the moon rock. At number 16, we got the Ruin Kingdom. Just like the Cloud Kingdom, this kingdom was only used for a boss battle and a couple of moons, and that's it. But I put this higher than the Cloud Kingdom because the boss battle is freaking cool. You fight a literal electric dragon. I mean, that's new. When I first finished the boss battle, I sounded like that one kid from The Incredibles.
That was totally wicked!
And it was a change in pace because we always fight Bowser over and over and over and over and over and
a few moments later.
Over and over again. It got old, and even though it's not the final boss in the game, I can't say that it's my favorite boss in the whole entire game because it's different and it's interesting and it's new. And for the other moons, it's just a bunch of random moons, whether it's in a pipe or Peach in the Ruin Kingdom or something like that. There's not much to do after you finish the boss battle and even after you finish the moon rock moons. At number 15, we got the Lost Kingdom. This kingdom, it isn't the best. I don't know if it's just me or me being bad at the game, but this level is a little bit on the too challenging side. I mean, seriously, one wrong jump and you're dead. And then, not even 5 minutes into the level, when you first get there, Klepto from Mario 64 comes out of nowhere and takes Cappy. As if he wasn't rude enough in Mario 64, he made a rude return in Mario Odyssey. At number 14, we got the Dark Side. The Dark Side is, you guessed it, the dark side of the moon. In it, you get to refight the Brutals, and after you finish fighting all 4, they turn into a robot called Robo Brood or Robo... I don't know, they turn into a robot. Like I said, it's all refights, even the robot fight, but there are surprisingly more moons to collect, 24 in fact. More than the Cloud Kingdom and the Ruin Kingdom moons. Even though literally half the moons are found with Dark Side art moons, the moons that aren't are pretty fun and challenging to get, except for the Captain Toad one because it's a Captain Toad moon. But for being an expansion on the Moon Kingdom, it's actually pretty good. Honestly, Nintendo should have done this with the Cloud and Ruin Kingdoms. More moons, more challenging moments, and not just being used for boss battles. At number 13, we got the Cap Kingdom. Of course, being the first kingdom in the whole entire game, the kingdom won't be that great as later kingdoms, but it's still a joy to revisit and get all the moons. When you first start the game, of course all the moons won't be there because you don't get your first power moon until the Cascade Kingdom. But once you come back, you bet there's a lot to explore. There's a lot of moons in this kingdom, 31 to be exact, and instead of refighting the boss at the top, Captain Toad is there to give you a moon. So yeah, everything is still the same from when you first started the game till now. The only difference is that there's moons here now. At number 12, we got the Snow Kingdom, a kingdom covered entirely in snow. This kingdom is so cold that if you go in the water and you're in the water too long, you'll freeze to death. But once you first get to the kingdom, it's a snowstorm, and I have to admit, the first time I played this, I could barely see where I was going. And I will also admit that it does get better after you quote-unquote beat the kingdom, aka get all the required moons. The snowstorm clears up, but half the moons don't require you to go out in the snowstorm. Half the moons require you to go in Shiveria Town. My personal favorite moon is the Bound Bow one, but I will admit that the final race of the Bound Bow, Iceburn Circuit Class S, was actually so hard that I cried of anger and didn't play the game for a month after that. But we're not going to talk about that. But all in all, this kingdom isn't bad, especially Shaviria Town. At number 11, we got the Luncheon Kingdom, a kingdom that is entirely based on food. Not to mention that this kingdom has so much going on. This kingdom introduces us to forks with I actually don't know what these things are. You can also turn into a lava ball and go into the soup. What? That food is not gonna taste good. You can also turn into meat. Also, everyone wears chef hats, and I love that. Oh, and the cannons. I love the cannons. We are now at the top 10, and at number 10 is Bowser's Kingdom, a kingdom that is based entirely on, you guessed it, Bowser. The Bowser Kingdom is based on traditional Japanese culture, and even though Bowser built this, it's actually good looking. Usually something that Bowser made is always filled with lava and redness, and this is too, but I guess Bowser took a different approach and made a whole kingdom. But this kingdom introduces us to Pokies, which Mario captures and can be used to poke walls and fly up walls. Pokios is used to get half the moons. You could say that Pokios are the main focus in Bowser's Kingdom. And number 9, we got the darker side. You may be wondering, Nario, isn't the dark side and the darker side just the same thing? Lol. No. The darker side is more like a celebration that you finished the game with everyone you met along your adventure. This even comes with a whole level at the end. And at the end of this level, when you ride the electrical thing, it spells out thank you. And the moon's name is Long Journey's End. Perfect name for the final moon. In number 8, we got the Seaside Kingdom. This kingdom is visually stunning. Sometimes I just go here to relax or just to play volleyball or just to swim. Here you capture Gushins, who helps you get half the moons. The Gushin sprays water in all directions, which means you can float if you have to. Here we can also see the return of Dory, who was originally in Mario 64, and also the Maw-Ray, also known as the Eels, also returned, who was originally in Super Mario 64. Not to mention the artwork for this kingdom is beautiful as well. At number 7, we got the Lake Kingdom. Speaking of beautiful and visually stunning kingdoms, the Lake Kingdom is one of them. Instead of taking place mostly on land, this kingdom has almost everything take place underwater. And so Mario doesn't run out of breath all the time, you can capture a Cheep Cheep who goes a lot faster than Mario, and that's so helpful. At number 6, we got the Mushroom Kingdom. This kingdom is basically just the HD remake of Super Mario 64. Everywhere in the kingdom is a Super Mario 64 reference somewhere. There's even a costume that changes Mario's model to the Mario 64 model. All in all, this kingdom is a great kingdom. It was a great reward after you finish the main game. Also, the text, "You can now travel to the Mushroom Kingdom," reminded me of the "You can now play as Luigi" screen from Super Mario Galaxy. Which also reminds me, if you don't like the video, I'm going to remove the ability of you to play as Luigi in Mario Galaxy. I'm just playing. But if you want to like the video, go ahead, nobody's stopping you. And to add more to references, inside Peach's Castle has a reference. First of all, the music is the same music from Mario 64. And then if you move the camera up in the ceiling while you're on the red carpet, you'll get a moon. This is an obvious reference to Mario 64, where if you do the same thing on that same carpet, you'll get teleported to the wing cap level. And they even remade the courtyard level from Mario 64. This is a cool castle to go to if you're feeling nostalgic. It's also the kingdom with the most moons out of all the kingdoms. At number 5, we got the Sand Kingdom. Being one of the first kingdoms in the game, this kingdom is filled with moons and a lot of many things to do and explore. And also, like how the Bowser Kingdom is based on Japanese culture, this one is mostly based on Mexican culture. This kingdom has fishing, Jaxies, Moais, the inverted pyramid, and a lot of other things you can do and explore. At number 4, we got the Moon Kingdom. We've talked about the dark and the darker side of the moon. Now let's get into the main moon. The moon is very different from the other kingdoms. The gravity changes. And yes, I know this is also used in the dark and darker side, but this is the first time we see this. This is the kingdom where Mario gets the wedding outfit and stop the wedding of Bowser and Peach. This is also the last kingdom that you unlock in the main game. And this kingdom also has a really in-depth look at the earth. At number 3, we got the Wooded Kingdom. The kingdom that takes place entirely in a dome. This kingdom is huge and is filled with things you can do. You can capture tanks, walk on literal flowers, capture uproots, and more. The music is also very good and well made. This kingdom does have a lot of mini rooms you are able to go to, one being the hardest one with the sheep. Well, it was really hard to me. This kingdom also introduces us to the robots and also the very scary forest you go to collect half the moons. At number 2, we got the Metro Kingdom. Remember when I said the Luncheon Kingdom has so much going on? Yeah, I lied. This is the kingdom that has so much going on. It's a literal city, a busy city. And after the Mushroom Kingdom, I think this is the second kingdom with the most moons in it. And this is the only kingdom with actual humans, not including the darker side. This may be a busy city, but when you first went to the city, it was all rainy and dark because of Bowser, except for the rain because I don't think Bowser can control the weather. But it becomes the city we know after you complete and defeat the Mecha Wiggler. And this kingdom is also used as a stage in Mario Golf Super Rush. And now at number 1, we got the Cascade Kingdom. This kingdom is the best in my opinion. It's the kingdom where you get your first Power Moon. It's the kingdom where you find and start up the Odyssey. It's the kingdom that introduced you to the 2D section. It's the kingdom where you first capture a freaking T-Rex. It's the kingdom for everything. Not to mention the music is great just like the Wooded Kingdom. And you can also capture a Chain Chomp. Not to mention when I first saw this kingdom, it kind of reminded me of Animal Crossing, especially with this kingdom's association with fossils. And that was me ranking every kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. Remember, it's my opinion, but if you want to put your opinions in the comments, go ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed and want to see more, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you can get notified whenever I upload. And make sure to follow all my socials that are on screen right now. And don't forget to join the Discord, which will be in the description. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.